Hey guys, this is video number 2. I was just in flow about rebooting. Rebooting. So I'm just going to kind of you guys, I'm just going to keep going. I'm hearing, what a boot. For those of you Canadians out there, Candace, we love you. I'm hearing it's time to reboot. So welcome. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. I'm just going into a flow. These transmissions are meant to be shared in a state of unity and love. And what a boot should we rebooting? We are boots on the ground, for we have been in this boo-hooing phase for too long. It is time to let go of the boo-hoo, come back into bountiful, come back into, I'm hearing the boot and I'm seeing the cornucopia, like the shoehorn that keeps that space. Stay on track, for we are tracking into a new traction beam, tractor beam of intelligent frequency particle acceleration. For as we come into this new acceleration, we de-accelerate from that which we were spinning out of control into. This was a perception. This was a perceptive. This was a perceived notion. I'm hearing, I'm seeing it was a notion and it's been overtaken by love potion number 9. And I'm seeing something about Boots and 9. A cat named Boots. I'm hearing stay out of the one track mind. For your parallel reality has been dispensated. This is a play on words. And you will be compensated, for you are within compensation. You are computing. You are comparing. You are hearing compare like a compatibility, and I'm seeing like a compatual words I'm gonna have to look up. But it's like we're realizing, we're computing, we're in this sensationalized melting pot that is in the process of being rebooted. So while we're on this, recognize that if we reboot and then we decide to plug back into that old system is dying. It's like a dying star, and it has that last big kaboom, and we're being invited not to get sucked into that energy. And we have the boots on the ground, and we're essentially grounding and anchoring in. I'm literally seeing electricity. We're harnessing a certain unit or feed system of unit, monetary unit frequency in unity. And I'm seeing, as I say, unity across. This has to do with physics. I'll have to go into this a little bit more in depth in writing. For we have come through the crossroads, and now we are creating and building on a new frequency, a new road map has been allowed. And again, I keep getting this reference to blowing the horns, cornucopia. I'm seeing a reference to it's being spoken aloud, like we are creating this. It is now, before it was just a thought, and now it's actually a sound, or vice versa. It's sound is what I'm hearing, like that's a play on words. Not only is it through our words and speech, but it's sound, like it's a full sound, like it's, that's all play on words. And I'm seeing PSI, like now it can be measured, it's stable. But we must first realize that we are stabilized, for we can still play in a field of lack of integrity, all a play on words. Integrity, integral, integrity, integrity. So I'm seeing this reference, like people can still choose not to root. They can still be out here floating around in a fake spin, so to speak, in a self-induced. I'm hearing comatrosed, comatrosity. So that is possible because we are the creators of our reality field. So why do that? Why increase the traumatic experience? I'm seeing expert trees. Again, lots of reference to branches, brachial. Break off from this fake AI, fake artificial intelligence. Like, and this is a play on words, you guys. It's like, it's not real, right? It's artificial, like food coloring is what I'm seeing. This could also have to do with AI, but that's not something I'm choosing to play with in this particular transmission. It's more important to play with the way that the words are being played with. So we're being invited to break off. I'm hearing, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break, give me a break. Like, come on, give me a break. Let's phase out of that. Let's allow that self to phase out so we can phase into phase conjugation, which is a physics terminology, right? So we're interlocking. We're in this phase development, and we're in the first phase of development as we allow ourselves to fully develop. And I'm seeing kind of time out, like time out. Let us find out from this time out what it is that we want to create and stop allowing others to feed us what they are telling us we should create. Does that make sense? For this diamond arc technology, this diamond arcing that we are all king, and I'm seeing crowning into, that we are all essentially essential part of, that we are essentially climbing into, climbing out of. So I'm seeing vines. Again, I'm seeing this lace and lattice work, and it's a crystal architecture, a plasma crystal technology that we are essentially harnessing into. But that's not even the full aspect of it. I'm hearing gauntlet, goblet, the chalice, right? It's not even that full aspect. Like, we are this, yet we are also creating this. And if you look at the facets of a diamond and you look at how a diamond is created, that's essentially an analogy or metaphor for everything that we are doing and how we are creating. My husband is light languaging me through the glass. So I'm being guided to talk a little bit about arcing, and this may go into in depth in a blog later on, but in craniosacral therapy, there's a technique, and I believe they call it when someone is arcing. Someone has, for example, an old injury, or they perhaps have an energy cyst, is what they refer to. And a craniosacral therapist will feel the body arcing or pulling in one direction. And you guys, this is just one aspect of many. We can talk about the ark. We can talk about Noah's Ark. We could talk about that as a reference to DNA. We can talk about that as a reference to the Ark of the Covenant, which has to do with implosion. We could talk about this as the Arka, the boat that we are, the vessel we are traveling into. But I'm just going off on one particular aspect or wordplay to this. And the body will arc in a certain direction and show the therapist, and apologies if I'm not exactly getting this specific definition, but the therapist will assist the body in recognizing, they recognize that there's an arc, and they, with intention and purposeful focus, intention and direction, they will then kind of guide the body back into more of a fluid motion so that the body isn't being pulled in this. What they're showing me is it's like a rewind when somebody gets stuck, you know, the old records or an old a CD that gets stuck. And that's what happens energetically for us in our habit patterns, in our body patterns. So if someone's had an injury, the body will constantly be pulled in that direction because it's stuck. There's something blocking a flow or a current in that movement. And really all we have to do sometimes is tell the body, hey, guess what? It's okay to release. You do not have to protect that anymore. You can let go and allow the flow, because it's a habit pattern that we created as a mechanism of whatever, fill in the blanks, of avoidance, of fear, protection, of healing. And basically the message is we are allowing, if we allow ourselves to move that out and to stop following that same habitual pattern of walking, of standing, of speaking, of old trauma, neglect, abuse, whatever it might be, we're being invited on an energetic level to stop feeding that, on a physical level to find a solution and to come back into our bodies, because our bodies are communicating with us at a higher extent on how to heal. And we're also being invited to recognize the habit patterns in our actions, deeds, words, right? And also to recognize that we are wearing that crown now that connects us fully to source. All of those old concepts of us being sinners is a heavy burden that many of us have been holding on to in our bodies, not being able to speak our truth, being weighted by the world on our shoulders, the crown of thorns, so to speak, the crown of scorn, right? We might have felt in a past life we were ostracized, and that's a whole other flow I'll be going into soon with ostracized. And we're being invited to lift that because the veil has been lifted, and all these little thorns or energy cysts or recognitions that have been a thorn in our side are showing up, and they're really obvious. And so we can give ourselves permission to let all of that go, to integrate, to dissolve, to digest, especially now it is our time to reboot and flesh that and appreciate what we're being gifted with this opportunity, and recognize it. So I'm going to end on that note because there's so much more I could go into, but in love and light, have fun rebooting. Namaste.